Mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, but he might have knocked it in.
Good time, dude. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around, who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hey, we got a big show for you today. Obviously, Tigers did not pull it off, and that's okay. They had it set up for them to make it deeper in the postseason. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what the season looked like, what the offseason is going to look like, and what next year is going to look like. Kind of recap the year. Transfer portal season is open. You've already seen a few LSU guys enter their name. Aiden Moffitt probably being the biggest name so far to announce that he is going into the portal. You would imagine Jay is working tirelessly. Today is the first day. Probably a reason why I didn't get the text back, because he is working tirelessly right now in the portal to, fill some of the holes that he'll need. We'll talk about what holes we think that he may fill and who he may target. There are a bunch of coaching changes. Obviously, the South Carolina job is open in college baseball. There's going to be a lot of names circulating around the baseball world that may sound familiar. Nolan Cain may be one of them. Josh Jordan, third base coach for LSU, may be another one. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Even though LSU is not playing and baseball is not being played here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the College World Series still goes on. So we're going to talk a little college baseball. We're going to talk about who we think now is going to win, that we think is going to win the World Series. All right. Tennessee going to snap the number 1 overall seed curse that's been going on since I think 1999. Who knows?
Yep.
We will talk through all of it. NBA Finals start tomorrow, and it is Paul Skeens' pitch day. He is on the mound right now, facing one of the best team in the Major League Baseball, one of the toughest lineups. 3 straight MVPs that he has to face in the lineup. Number one, Mookie Betts leading off. 2, Shohei Ohtani, and then Freeman is hitting third. And first inning, strikes out Mookie Betts on 4 pitches. Goes fastball to Shohei. See ya. And then gets a fly out from Freddie Freeman. Next inning, gives up a double to Hayward. 2 more punchies. Gets out the inning, no runs. He is putting on a show right now. Obviously, if you're watching the game or you're seeing it, it's a sold out crowd. A lot of fans. Really good for Pittsburgh to have him on the mound. This is following up Jared Jones, their Jared Jones, not our Jared Jones, who was throwing fastballs at 102, beat the Dodgers last night 1-0. Exciting time in Pittsburgh. Obviously, we are adopted Pittsburgh Pirates fans only when Paul Skeens pitches.
Yeah,
really,
every
fifth day, right?
Maybe
like,
6 if there's
but
an
maybe
off
like
day.
maybe more so because it'd be really cool to see him get in the playoffs and watch him play in the playoffs.
Right now, every fifth day,
maybe
every 6th day.
You have to earn your stripes with us.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? As you can see, Jay Mitch is back from his 2-week-long hiatus from studio because he was working his other gig, which is at SEC Network, and he was in Charlotte, obviously following all the college baseball games around the country. We will talk to him about what he saw and what the conversations were like in the studio as the games were going on. 5 SEC teams made it to a super regional. 6 ACC teams made it to a super regional. So there's only, if you don't know, there's only 16, right? No.
16 left.
Yeah, there's only 16 teams left.
Yeah.
So there's 8 super regionals. That's 11 of the 16 teams came from 2 conferences. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Unfortunately, LSU's not one of them. But
That one hurt.
we're real close to getting into this, like, purgatory of sports. You got OTAs that are just now starting. You got contracts that are coming out. So NFL football is on the forefront. They just came out with
their next news cycle, basically.
yeah, right. And they just came out with the games in December, like whatever, in that stretch of games where you're going to have football almost every night for like a month, basically, it feels like. You're not quite there. What's that?
College football playoff just announced their schedule.
College football playoff just announced their schedule, which kind of coincides with the NFL schedule. That's why you're going to have football, whether it be college or NFL, for almost a month straight. I think you only get a few days off within that month. It's wild. Fun times. Obviously, football is king right now. But even with that being said, you have, middle of June. College baseball is doesn't have as much luster as it would have had LSU still been in it. So you got a little of that. You got the Olympics. And you got to wait a little bit longer for football to start. End of August, obviously. Middle of August, kind of when it really starts ramping up. But we'll be here to fill your Mondays and Wednesdays and some Fridays over the summer with sports talk, some bullshit, some hanging out, some guests we'll have in. We'll have interviews, not necessarily interviews about games we're playing, about them personally. I think next week we're going to have a few guys on the team that are no longer – that they're moving on from their career here at LSU. Baseball, come on here and talk about what's next for them. So a lot to look forward to, a lot to talk about. But right now, let's talk about the LSU baseball Tigers and kind of figure out or talk about what we saw in the game, what went wrong. Because at the end of the day, they had an opportunity to win. Like you could have said, hey, LSU in Game 7, basically, of the regional, when they're exhausted of all their starting pitchers, they're going to only give up 2 runs in 9 innings. So the number 4 overall seed, I said, sign me up for that. I could never have expected that to happen, but it happened. LSU was in the driver's seat. Everything went to plan, right? Before the game started, Jay said, hey, if we're winning at the back end of the game, we have Gage jump available for 1 or 2 innings. That situation played out. Jay stayed with what his plan was before the game. It unfortunately didn't work out the way he had anticipated. I'm okay with the move because that was the move he had planned. That was his game plan. His game plan followed suit. I think the only thing in the game plan that didn't really follow suit was he could never have expected Will Helmers to go 5 2/3 of shutout baseball, which was a godsend, which was something awesome. So the boys played really well. We obviously watched it here live. You saw our reactions as it was happening. They came up short. It was unfortunate. A lot of things could have gone differently in the game. Not one play. One play was not the reason they lost the game, right? So if you think that's the reason, then you probably should stop watching our show because that's not the case. And if you have something to say about it, you can put it in the group chat, the group text, and we can talk about it. Look, it's Ask Mikey and Mitch Wednesday. We didn't really promote it because it was kind of been a wild, hectic thing. If you're watching our show and you want to put in questions in the chat, throw them in there. We'll answer it. Jade, good to have you back, dude.
Yeah, man.
Good to have you back in here. And Stewie is still filling in for Lloyd because the airlines
Lloyd's not being nice to Lloyd.
They still stink, right?
Yeah.
They a lot of flight cancellations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette and Houston and all these other places with Lloyd in Chicago with his family, going to see his brother who now lives in Chicago, trying to fly back. Supposed to leave this morning, said he was going to be back for the show. Was on the flight, then no longer on the flight. They had to deplane. Never a good sign when they deplane. He's not going to make it back. So we got a 6th man of the year in
off
Stewie.
the bench
Welcome
like Lou
back,
Will
baby.
right now, just
Always.
shooting up the jumpers right now.
Always.
Nah, dude, I'll be honest with you. I can tell you all this, bro. I'm sitting on set as we're watching the last 3 or 4 innings, and we kind of got to go live right after the game. Bro, I was depressed.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
My man was hurting.
Because I'm sitting there like,
Damn, they had it.
I was not I would have taken them getting beat by 5. I would have taken, and I swear this is nothing on Jake, bro. Jake is all good in my book. I could care less about that one play. But if I would have taken a snapshot of when he turned around before the ball entered his glove, and you had to tell me, is this going to be a part in how LSU ends this game? I don't think anybody would have said no, right? Like
He was there.
He was there. His back was to the wall. He had his glove here. Wasn't here. Like there was no. You'd have been like, oh yeah,
And look,
we good.
And there's a million. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, but I say, and I'm not sitting here saying that end of the game. It didn't at all.
Right.
I'm not at all. I'm just saying I would have rathered a 6-hopper through the hole. I would have rathered 106 mile per hour, 600-foot home run hit. Anything over something as unfortunate as that, with as good as a game as everybody played, and they're not in that spot if Jake Brown is not in the game.
Right.
Let that be known, right? So that little bit kind of threw it off a little bit. But I'll tell you this, man, watching them play that game, it was cool, and I would have never guessed, like you said, 2 runs into the 9th. If you'd have told me that that's what they had given up, if you'd have said, are they moving on, or what do you expect that the rest of the outcome of that game have been? First off, I would have told you, well, I guessed before the game, I was like 9-4, they win the ball game.
I said on the show they got to score between 10 and 12 runs to win.
So I would have told you, well, if we gave up 2, that means we probably got at least 7+ on the board.
Yeah.
It was a not close game, good, a very well played game by LSU. That's how they win. So for that to have been the case too, and I don't at all think Jay gave you his plan before the game. It was to go to Gage with the lead. I'm not second guessing it at all, but I will say this now. I'm thinking in my mind because just from seeing this situation right now, and I can go back to times when I've probably seen Max Scherzer come on in a game 6 or 7.
Yeah, you're talking about starters coming out the pen.
Not starters coming out the pen. Not just starters coming out the pen, but starters coming out the pen
On short rest.
on a 1, maybe 2-run lead too. Because that's different than any start that they if you bring them in a situation where it's 3+, 4 runs, they can get into the game as they do when they start.
Which is what he did Yeah.
Exactly. And then now it's like, and I'm not saying that he should have second guessed it. Like, that was the plan, dude. Like, he did what he said he was going to do. But now I'm thinking, I'm like, man, like, is it a thing when starters come in those situations that they're so used to it being basically a blank canvas when they get on the mound, right? In those situations to where it's like, they have a chance
They're not used to that.
Paint, and it's not, hey, I need you to go be perfect right now.
Right.
And that may be a little different. Now, I'm not saying it should have changed. Once again, that is what it is. But it was like, it's crazy how it goes because it happened what they wanted to happen. And I'm imagining it's to no one's fault. The two guys that came in relief for North Carolina that day, they threw well too.
Yeah.
And they kept the game at bay.
Yeah.
They kept themselves and gave themselves a chance. But I would imagine if you asked Jake going into that situation, he would have never expected maybe a 1-run lead, maybe even them just having 2 runs on the board as well, being in that spot.
Yep.
And that ended up happening, and you got to tip your cap to the way North Carolina played at the end of it because they won that game.
No doubt. And here's the deal. Like, it's easy for us, it's easy for fans, easy for anybody to look back and second-guess moves that were made. Oh, you shouldn't have taken him out because of this. Right? Hey, he didn't work out, so you should have kept Ackenhausen in because Ackenhausen struck out the side. He looked really good doing the whole deal. But yeah. Well, what happens if you have Gage jump in the pen and Ackenhausen goes out there and gives it up, right? Then you say, oh, well, he should have taken Ackenhausen and put Gage jump like he wanted to, right? It's a no-win situation unless that person and it works out the way it needs to work out, right? And listen, Gage jump pitched great,
he
right?
did.
The guy hit a double. The first of all, that third baseman,
The fist
obviously,
ball,
obviously he was the MVP of the regional for a reason. He saved probably 3 or 4 runs at third base.
Yep.
Played unbelievable defense at third base. Gallagher is his name.
Yep.
He's a freshman, so he's a bright future for this kid. Had a walk-off grand slam earlier in the regional, and then goes out there and hits a slider for a double down left field line off the end of the bat, right? Just
Great
a
swing.
great swing. Like,
Great swing.
it's part of the game. Wasn't hit hard. Got enough of it to get down the left field line. Placed it perfectly. Got a double, right? Then guy messes the bunt up. You get 1 out, right? And then, and obviously everybody already knows this, then the 9-hole guy, as with 1 out and 2 strikes, gets jammed and fisted and
you
just
gotta remember,
falls
too,
in there.
This is the same guy that kicked it the day before and gave up some runs. So he comes in, jam job, and not just a 1-0 or a 0-0. Let me go ahead and just jump you and try to get something. No, this was a great at-bat. He fouled off some good pitches. He took some good pitches, and he finally got his fist on a ball that he was able to just dump in the left field.
Yep.
Bro, you got to tip your hat when stuff like that happens.
Wasn't bad play. It wasn't like Gage jump walk the house. It wasn't any of those things. It was just, hey, they made a play, and they got the base hit to take the lead. Okay, we get out. To tie the game, we get out of that inning. Then you go in the extra innings, and obviously the play. And you talk about the play with Jake Brown. You felt comfortable the whole way with the ball off the bat. He had tracked it the whole way. Obviously, I haven't talked to him about exactly what happened. Looking at it, being an outfielder, it felt like he looked like he was trying to brace for the wall.
That's what I thought. I think he thought he was
missed,
closer.
Yeah, exactly. And so kind of messed his
Instead of just continuing
whatever.
to go, I think he thought he was there already and didn't want to hit it, and then it literally probably hits him in the tooth.
Yep. Right.
So I think he tried to slow up a little bit, and he wasn't actually there yet.
Probably his head started bouncing a little bit. That's what I would imagine. I can't think that it's lights. And maybe it was.
Maybe it was. I think
Yeah.
from looking at it though, I think he thought he was closer to the wall than he actually was.
I agree. Right. And
And
so,
he was still close, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's that little bit of
And look, that didn't score a run. That just gave them an opportunity to score a run. They had an opportunity not to. Then they ended up scoring a run. It was very unfortunate the way it ended, but it was very good baseball. At the end of the day, there was one less play made, and they ended up North Carolina did what they needed to do to win the game. And
I'll
that's
sum it
that's
up
what
as
it
this,
is.
dude. I think it's one
It's
of
not
these
anybody's
things.
fault. It's just
not at
baseball.
all. I think it's one of these things you got to understand how hard, especially when you're on the road at a top 5 seed, how hard it is to come out of a loser's bracket and win a game. Like, you basically have to play perfect baseball to be able to make it happen when you come out of a loser's bracket. It's just hard.
Right.
It's just hard.
Right.
That's really that simple.
Yeah, it's tough. They did everything they could do.
They did.
This game played out way differently than I think anybody would have thought it would play out as far as runs scored on both sides.
And
so
we mentioned this off the camera too, but people forget this is when
By
we
the
talked.
way, Pirates are winning 6-0.
Jeez.
They're just giving.
I feel like
giving
every
skins-
time he's on the mound too, he's getting
That's
the run
it.
support. It's like they know.
That's it.
They know.
They are.
Hey, we talked about this off camera too, and it's crazy to me because it's it's so easy to forget when it goes your way how thin the margins are. But like, you think back to the first part of the season, you're like, man, this team. A lot of people are like, this team sucks. They're not good. And we're like, hey, just give us some time.
Yeah.
There is time left. You got a chance. They got to get rolling. They're obviously not playing good baseball yet. But there's good players there. I would imagine they'll get there. They got there. But I can bring it back to last year where, just like we said, we forget that it's a tie ball game. Wake Forest brings in one of their best relievers on a staff that was loaded with dudes. And first pitch, he throws a slider. And Tommy, who's never seen this guy before, I think maybe they played against each other in travel ball or something like that, who basically has never seen him in college, says, yeah, I'm going to swing at his first pitch slider and I'm going to hit it 8 rows deep.
walk-off home run.
We just, no offense to Tommy, but we just saw him hit that same pitch 6 times to the shortstop that he was throwing out to all tournament, right? And so my point to it is the margins are that thin to where if he grounds that ball out last year and they go in and score a run, LSU may come home not a national champion.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
No doubt, right? Let me ask you this. Whenever Pearson hit that ball, I thought he got it. Did
I
you
thought
not?
it got over his
Me too.
head.
I didn't want a homer. I thought maybe, damn, this could be a double.
Yeah.
And I was like, one, if it's a double and this guy's not playing no doubles, what an
idiot.
awful mistake that was. But he hit it and he got it well. Listen, every out that inning was hit decent. And it's just the way it happens. But yeah, dude, like, it's a game of inches. Anything can go anyway. If you don't remember 09, I mean, I remember 09. We were hosting a regional.
Yeah.
And it was basically the same type of game. And Austin got the base hit in like the top of the 9th.
Yeah.
Or
I
top of
scored
the
for
8th
third on it. Yeah, I remember,
against Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up beating Baylor by 1 or 2 runs. And it was like, that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
And that was the same situation LSU was in. I think Baylor was a 3 seed in that regional. Like,
but
you know,
we knew
it's
they
just,
had good because they had Sean Tollison on that team. They had some good arms
Yeah.
on that team.
Yeah. So
Same
it's
situation.
game of inches. One team makes a play, one team doesn't. That's the way it goes. So at some point, someone's gonna have to win. Someone's gonna have to lose. Unfortunately, LSU did it because before we get to like the guys on the team and who's leaving, and all that kind of stuff, I lost my train of thought right there.
Well, before you go forward, I can literally tell you, I can truly say from my perspective and how I saw him play this year, I don't think there's much more you could have truly asked from a team who dug themselves a hole that was so damn deep to get themselves into that spot and have a chance to do what they were doing and to come this close to moving on, to surviving and advancing. You got to take your hats off.
Yeah, no doubt, dude.
Play well.
No doubt. They had themselves set up for a deep run.
Yeah.
They would have hosted a super here in Baton Rouge against West Virginia, who's a 3 seed. West Virginia, look, you can say they came out of regional. They deserved to come out of the regional because they won the games they needed to win. As far as talent goes, as far as having to play against the number 1, number 2 pitchers for LSU, who are basically both aces, I liked LSU's chances of getting through them to Omaha, right?
I like the idea of whether it was a 2 seed, 3 seed, or 4 seed, of you bringing a team into Baton Rouge who has not really played in an SEC environment, much less Baton Rouge, in a super regional to get to. I love the idea.
No doubt, right? And then if you get past them, you go to Omaha and you have the number 2 seed team, Arkansas. That's that's the side of the bracket you were matched up with. Well, Arkansas had lost, so you would have made it to Omaha, and you had the top team in that bracket not there. You would have set yourself up. And listen, they know this. We're not saying anything that they don't know. It's just, they played such a good game. They came back from such the hole that they were in, like you said, and you just wanted to see these guys continue to go because it felt like they were bringing in that magic. And look, a lot of guys got a lot of experience this year.
Yes,
too,
indeed.
moving in for next year, right? Because there's going to be a lot of,
valuable
new roles.
Experience.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of new roles that are going to be had, which is going to be filled by some portal guys, some transfer guys, some recruits, some guys that may have already been there that just didn't get really an opportunity this year. Some of those positions are going to be filled by them. And then you got a lot of these young guys that got valuable experience. Obviously, Jake Brown, we just talked about.
When you got to realize, too, for people that are hearing this, when we say experience, it's not just the regional and or regional championship and or regional losers bracket. They got basically play 6 weeks of playoff baseball.
Yeah.
Like, that's valuable experience right there.
No doubt, right? And that, similar, right? In 08, when y'all had to come through and y'all had to grind through it, right? You went through hey, we're a tough time. We got through it, and it ended up making a
That's a
run.
great point, yeah.
And the next year, it feels different, right? And so you have those guys that did that. You also have Pearson will be back, right? So that'll be a fifth-year guy. I mean, a fourth-year guy, be a senior who's going to have a ton of experience. He's obviously going to be right in the middle of that lineup. Milam's not going to be a sophomore. He was already an All-American this year. You're going to have potentially Braswell back at shortstop, right? You're going to have you're not going to have Milazzo.
Right.
You're not going to have Travinsky. I do not believe you're going to have Bear Jones.
Right.
You're not going to have Holman, and you're not going to have Gage Jump.
I think one early key on this team next year is what kind of leadership and behind the dish jump can Brady Neal make?
No doubt, right? Look, you saw he had a couple good big hits in
leadership
the regional
and behind the dish.
No doubt.
What kind of jump can he make there? And that'll tell you how good
here's the deal.
Staff and maybe even the team will be.
Here's the deal. I would imagine, now as we're talking about this, I would imagine you're going to have some catchers brought in.
Yeah, of course.
But you're also, I bet you they're probably going to try to get a veteran catcher out the portal.
Of course. Yeah,
right?
I mean, you should only because if for nothing less, Neal's not going to catch all 56 games. So you want to bring in somebody else who you can plug and play.
No
without a doubt.
And you're going to have
plug, play, and compete.
Right.
Challenge.
Right.
Push.
Make better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You're going to have all that. Plus, you're going to have like the guys that we talked about leaving, you're going to have a rotation. Think about this rotation. So Griffin Herring's coming back.
Yep.
Right? Like, he hasn't announced it. It's not a for sure thing. But Griffin Herring will be a starter next year. He just got nominated for the Stopper of the Year by the NCAA or whoever gives that award. And so he will be back next year.
Go ahead and go ahead and tell why you think he'll be back.
Because
I'm with you too, but go ahead.
Yeah, because he's a draft eligible sophomore. You say, well, why don't you go? You got the leverage, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he has only thrown out the pen. They've seen him go 6-7 innings. They've seen him go 80 pitches, but they've never seen him start, right? Relievers don't get drafted and don't get paid that much money in the draft. Or pitchers that are relievers don't get paid that much money in the draft. Now, he comes back, and he proves he's a really good starter. Yeah. He all of a sudden jumps from potentially a third, fourth round pick to potential first rounder because of his breaking ball, because of his right on his fastball, because of all those things.
And to sidebar that, because that's 100% right, but to sidebar that, there is a possible chance, that somebody will say, hey, we saw you as a starter do it like that. Like, you got to think back to the year before where you saw somebody like Grant. What's Grant's
Taylor.
name? Grant Taylor. Yeah, you saw somebody like Grant Taylor.
Speaking of, I just checked on him. He's thrown 15 innings this year. Has won something already and struck out 28 guys.
There you go. And that'll help in that. But the caveat of that is they didn't see it at LSU, but they saw it the year before in the Cape as a starter.
Yep.
And that's what helped him a ton.
Right.
So with Griffin having all those numbers, even extended outings, all of that is great, but there's way more of a chance that people are going to try to knock his number down because he didn't do it as a starter.
Yep.
Which sucks, but that is what it is.
It's not because they don't like him. It's not because they don't think he's a starter. It's because, hey, it's
because they want to get him for cheaper.
And they're going to get the dollar price down. So I think he's back. So here's the rotation. Listen, I don't know if this is going to be the case because I don't know how Cade Anderson is viewed. I would imagine Cade Anderson is going to be in the rotation. He should be because he did really well. So you're going to have Griffin Herring. You're going to have Cade Anderson. And you're going to have a guy that I don't know if y'all remember who this guy is, big recruit, Chase Shores, obviously.
Literally big recruit.
Literally coming back. So, like, he will be back because he's a draft-eligible sophomore. He will not sign, right? He's going to come back. He's going to be a starter. He has a potential to go 1 overall. We're watching Paul Skeens that we went 1 overall last year as the top right-handed pitcher in the draft, absolute dominate MVP candidates, MVP winners in Major League Baseball. You have this guy who throws 100 as well, has a potential to do that same stuff. He'll be back. So you have those 3 guys in the rotation. That's a strong start. You also have some freshmen you brought in this year that may not have been ready. You have Cam Johnson. Hopefully he can take the next jump, right? And Jay's going to go out and get some more. He's going to go out and get another
I'll throw this name out there
starters.
too, even though because he's already on the team, but he'll be basically 2 years removed from it at the time too. But I look for somebody like Jaden Newton if he stays
as well
to make a huge jump as well.
as well.
I expect that too.
He didn't get through one inning this year. He had it wasn't another arm injury. I think something had happened while he was, coming through his rehab or as he started that was not related to the arm, I believe. And so he didn't get to throw this year or last year. He'll be back potentially next year, and that's another guy that you're going to put in the rotation. You want 4 or 5 arms. Guys you can be able to start, right? And if they end up not earning the starting spot, they'll be like Griffin. They'll be the best guy out the bullpen, that whole stuff. So you're going to have a rotation full of talented guys. Plus, you're bringing in guys. The kid from Catholic High, Schmidt, he just got one Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year. He's projected to go in the top 10 of the draft. If for some reason, I
don't expect it to happen.
Either. But if for some reason he falls to the end of the first round, it would behoove him to come to LSU and pitch. Because if he's that same guy and he obviously continues to stay healthy and does what he does and develop, you go from being 28th picked in the draft to potentially a top 5, top 10 pick, and that's a lot. It's a big jump in money. So, if something were to happen there and he comes back, that's another talented guy. Jay's on the recruiting trail. He's in the transfer portal. You are going to see a first baseman, no doubt, in the portal.
Yeah.
You're going to see another infielder or 2 in the portal. You have the corners are going to be available, right? They're going to be open. They're going to be a competitive position in the fall. Those positions are open. You have 3 outfielders. If Kling stays, you have 4 outfielders you trust. I would imagine that they're probably going to go try to get maybe one more veteran guy, right? Because those outfield rotations, you can figure it out. If somebody starts to swing it, you just make him the DH, and you figure it out that way. He's going to go out and get a veteran catcher, I believe, as well. And so those would be the guys that I would imagine. Look, that kid from Mississippi, I don't think he's ever going to step foot on campus. Connor Griffin.
Same thing.
Yeah,
man.
like something will have to happen.
2 guys where, like, you talking about Smith from Catholic and you talk about Connor Griffin. Those are 2 guys I don't at all expect to make it here. But Bregman things have happened in the past.
Right.
Gosman things have happened in the past. So we'll see. But
yeah, no
that's
doubt.
where I'm at with that.
So it's my point in saying this is the future is bright for LSU baseball. It's going to continue to get brighter. Jay did a great job of getting these guys back on track.
I would imagine, dude, if we're being honest, just off the strength of not being – like, if he were to go and completely swing and miss in the portal, I think is the only team that you can't look at next year's team as being potentially better than this year's team.
Right.
That truthfully. Like, and I get it. You're going to miss 50 home runs from 2 guys. I understand all of that. But because of what you're bringing back in experience and honestly, like the talent that's there with that experience now and expect it to jump another year, you could potentially look at next year's team better than this.
Here's also a point I want to make too. Last year they were so good, not because of Dylan Cruz and Paul Skeens, right? Mm-hmm. They were good last year because they had a lot of guys that have experience playing at LSU.
Yeah.
Trey Morgan, Gavin Dugas, Travinsky came on late, but he was a veteran. So let's say, you had Skeens, you had Jordan Thompson, you had Beloso. All those guys were recruited by LSU, got to LSU, had successes, had failures, and continued to grow within the SEC. And so by the time they all got to juniors and seniors, they were as experienced and as talented as you want it to be, and it kind of combined it together. And that happens because when they come to you recruit an LSU and they grow through the program, right? Then you bring in a Paul Skeens to put the finishing touches on one of those teams. You come and get some of these transfer guys. What I'm encouraged about this LSU team is you have 3 freshmen that had they were a significant part of this team throughout this run. Those guys are going to continue to be. So by the time they're next year, they're going to be way more experienced, and it's going to get better and better that way.
I can even, it's like funny you bring up 3 freshmen, but
damn, Otani just took him deep.
I'm wondering if someone like I don't know what the draft situation will be like for him, but I feel like LSU's got a favorable shot. But you take a guy who's had success in D1 baseball before and came here and struggled this year and got kind of thumped on the forehead a little bit. Somebody like Justin Lower could be really good next year.
No doubt. He got
really good next year.
Yep.
Hey, you came from Xavier. Xavier's not the same thing as here, competition-wise, atmosphere-wise, all of that stuff. Maybe that took a little bit of adjustment for him.
Yeah.
if it doesn't work out for him in the draft, he could be Ackenhausen 2.0 next year.
No doubt.
Like that, there's so much that's coming back here next year.
Let me ask you this. No shot Thatcher comes back, huh?
Hell no.
Right? I think he's still going to get drafted in the third round.
Yeah, I think he's still going to get drafted high, too. Especially after what he did at the end of it. And, like,
yeah.
if he can verbalize what he verbalized. I mean, bro, this stuff's explosive, man. If he's anywhere near the zone. And what he showed at the end of it.
You can't
if
teach
someone
stuff.
can believe that, okay, he's not going to tinker and he's going to do this, or we can get him to stay here. Yeah, I don't think he's
Well, you can't teach the kind of stuff that he's got.
No, man.
Right? And you also like, you can look at a pitcher who's got super talented stuff, has great ability to pitch, right? And them never have had any success because they're so wild. They've never been able to figure it out for year after year after year. And you can say, all right, we're going to let that guy fall, but we're going to draft him, and maybe we'll work with him. And, then you get a guy like like Thatcher, who has all the ability on the mound, has the type of stuff that guys are looking for at the top of the draft, and he's also shown you that he's had success with it. Now, he hasn't been consistent, but at least he's shown you, similar like Ben Hess at Alabama, right? Hey, really good stuff. You've been very inconsistent. Potential first-rounder coming into the year, played terrible, but then, you showed it again. That, to me, these teams will take a shot on that guy in the second, third round.
Even in today's climate of
it's not always about
analytics
results
and stuff, I'm going to just tell you right now, like, 94 on up with a decent breaking ball, if they've shown the ability to be able to be effective in the zone with that at any point of their career, when they become draft eligible, there is somebody out there that's like, I'm taking a shot because I can teach you the right stuff with that. So I don't think he's back here because he's shown that and more in the ability to perform at high pressure times, the ability to get it done late. Like, he's shown these things. It hasn't been sustained for a full season yet, but he's shown these things. Somebody that's shown that, they're not. He ain't gonna stay. He ain't gonna be here.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I don't think he should.
And me either.
I just respectfully.
I posed the question for everyone else.
He's one of them dudes that you can look at him like as Jacoby Jones, like done some really good things here. Probably even better as a pro.
Yeah,
probably is the one that flies through the thing because that's just he's got that kind of ability.
Yep, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It was a good season. They are going to be talented moving forward. I'm curious to see what the portal ends up looking like. Because he's in there. He's going to bring some guys in. How much? Where is he going to go? How many guys is he going to bring in? How many guys are we going to lose? You know what I mean? Like, you've already had Aiden Moffitt just announced. You had an outfielder earlier in right as the postseason started announced. And you had another outfielder that just announced. You know what? I'm probably not gonna find it. It was no shot. I don't know. Okay, but you had another one. So you're gonna continue to have these guys put their name in a portal and move, and so you're gonna see some different names. Now, some of these names you may not be familiar with because they haven't had a lot of time playing. But you're going to start seeing some movement. Now, the last thing about baseball team, who I'm kind of interested about is Kucherak. Because he was a big recruit coming in here as a shortstop. Yeah. And
one big swing.
Huh?
One big swing during the year.
No, that was Zeb Riddell.
Oh, that was Zeb.
That was Zeb.
That was Zeb.
Kucherak was a shortstop. He was slick fielder. He can pick it. No, obviously Braswell. I think the funny thing is when Braswell came in here, everybody was like, all right, we're going to get a slick fielding shortstop hitting 250. No problem, but he's a real good defender. That was what the conversation was. And then he gets here and he starts kicking a few balls around shortstop. I'm not saying he played a terrible shortstop, but he missed some plays.
Everybody was down.
Right. And then, but he starts banging, right? So a guy who we thought was going to be opposite ended up being, hey, I'm going to hit 320 and I'm going to be decent at shortstop as opposed to, hey, I'm going to be decent at the plate. And
I'll be honest with you, that last 6 weeks when the team started playing better, you never there wasn't a question of anything that he did at short.
Right.
Right. That he got you got the slick glove that you thought you were getting at that point.
Yep.
So to bring in the fielder, or I won't say if you just brought in the stat line that he brought in this year, and I didn't tell you all the errors or the bad part came pretty much in a 1 5-week stretch or one little stretch, you'd be like, yeah, I'm taking that guy all day.
Yep. No doubt.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm taking that all day with what I got.
No doubt.
So yeah, I think he played well
Yep.
over the course of this year.
So that begs the question: Is he gonna get drafted and go? Is he a senior? I don't know. Can someone find out if he's a junior or senior? Braswell.
Yeah.
I think he's a junior, but
He was at South Carolina for 2 years, so yeah.
That's what I thought too. I just didn't know if there was a red shirt before it or any of that.
He is a junior.
He's a junior. So that's the other question, right? Is he gonna come back? I don't know.
And then you get a 4-year player. You get a 4-year SEC starter.
You're gonna get two of those basically, because you'll get him. And I'm not saying Pearson started every day, but Pearson has had some significant time here, so you'll have 2 4-year SEC starters in your lineup, and to me that's a huge. I would not be shocked if next year comes and Milam and Pearson both have double-digit, probably let's say close to 15 home runs next year. Like I really wouldn't be shocked. Pearson's hit 9 his freshman year. Milam hit 8 this year. You could tell, you could feel the.
If he can,
I mean, y'all remember what? I guess my best example would be, remember Duplantis?
yeah.
So for 3 years he would hit 2-3 home runs, hit a bunch of hits. His last year he hit like 14 homers.
So that's my only thing. I won't even say it's a scare. It just is what it is with a kid that's as young as he is, but he's got the hit tool, right? So like I don't think he's gonna fall off to where he doesn't hit for average at all. I think he already has that in him, and I think even when he doesn't, it becomes a better than average, like average type of year.
Right.
Just maybe not what the top end is. But my only wonder is whatever he was doing, or the things that he did towards the back end of the year to kind of tap into some of his power potential, and obviously up with everything else that he's doing, will he be able to keep and or build on that towards next year, or will he try to get bigger,
right,
and do the wrong things, if you will,
right?
Like which way is it gonna go? I think either way, you're still getting a better than average hitter, even when he's gonna be at his quote unquote worst.
No doubt.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised at all if he's someone 12 to 15.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's easy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he had 7 or 8 this year, and he didn't play the whole year. Like that's easy, you know. So it's gonna be fun to watch his development. Another wild card would be Kling, right? Is Kling gonna transfer? Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna make that jump? I don't know. Super talented guy. Just want to see him. Hopefully he can put it together. So I don't know. We will see about that. Now moving on to the World Series, right? So for those of y'all who, after the game ended, you said, I don't give a shit about the World Series anymore. Like, I don't care who's in it. You got Evansville
in it.
at Tennessee. I mean, the Super Regional, not the World Series. You have Evansville at Tennessee. Listen, we've seen crazy things. We've seen Fresno State go from a 4 seed to the national championship game. We saw Coastal do it. We saw, who's the team up in New York? Stony Brook do it.
He said, who's the team up in New York?
Yeah, Stony Brook, right?
Yeah.
We've seen these teams do it, so I don't want to discredit them, but you got Evansville at Tennessee. You'd have to imagine Tennessee's going to take care of business there. Then you got, I think, the most interesting two in my mind. You have NC State at Georgia, right? Like that's ACC, SEC. NC State is pretty solid. They're kind of both at the same level of tier of that conference, right? Like talented, won, hosted, but like not quite Tennessee, A&M, those teams, right? So that one's going to be interesting. And then Florida at Clemson. Florida's the 3 seed that barely got in, but everybody knows they're super talented. I mean, they're ranked in the top 5 even when they're like 4 games over 500 early on in the season. And so that's another SEC, ACC. Clemson is obviously higher ranked than Florida, but it's going to be interesting to watch them play. And, dude, there's some guys in these teams.
Yeah, so I'll give you like a quick one. I'm going to be honest with you. The first one that jumps out to me is this NC State at Georgia, right?
Right.
Like, I think NC State it's not a huge name that we've seen, but let me just put this to you real quick. NC State this year, series wins against Duke, tourney team. Series wins against Virginia, tourney team. Series wins against Wake Forest, tourney team. Series win against Clemson, tourney team. Series win against North Carolina.
Yeah, mostly hosts.
They beat all these teams this year in a series. So them going to Georgia.
And you know what's wild? I heard a stat. You know where I heard it? SEC Network. So they did that, right? 5 series against 5 of the host sites or wherever, right? Postseason teams. They did this when they were like middle to bottom half.
Oh yeah, they had a very similar
statistics.
They had a very similar
Mostly
season
bottom.
as LSU did. This
Yeah,
year.
they
Like,
just
they
won
were
the
not
series.
bad. They were not good in the first half, and then they started playing well.
Yeah.
So like that at Georgia, like we know Georgia doesn't pitch it necessarily well, but we know they swing it, right?
Right.
So it could go either way, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them walk out of
Yeah.
Athens and going to Omaha. Like it just wouldn't be at all.
It's just- it
I
feels-
think Tennessee walks into it. Florida at Clemson, sneaky.
Right. I think that was cool.
Because you don't know,
like that.
but I just don't think Florida's consistent enough to
I don't
continue
either.
doing it. So I think Clemson gets out of that. A&M and Oregon doesn't swing it well. You going into College Station, you got to swing it.
Yeah.
You ain't beating them.
Yeah.
A&M goes on. Oregon State and Kentucky.
That's a cool one too, isn't it?
That's a good one too.
Yeah, that's a
you
cool
got
one.
pretty much, which is like probably the consensus #1 player in the nation
Yep.
on Oregon State's team. They got a
What's it,
good
Bazana?
team.
Bazana?
Bazana.
I don't know how to pronounce
exactly
it.
how you but yeah.
That guy.
I think they can walk out. If you're gonna pick an SEC team for them to play on the road that was hosting, I think that's the one that's probably the best for them to go to, and I think they got the best shot.
Yeah, no doubt. You have 5 SEC teams.
5 now.
Right.
You had 11 down to 5. How many make it in? You think?
That's what I was about to ask.
I'm going with 3.
I was gonna go with 3 too. I think Tennessee's in, no doubt.
I think Tennessee.
Wow, there's only one super. That's crazy. Only one super Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, they give you that one.
I thought it was used to be more than that.
It usually.
I thought they
used
would
to be, but
split
they're gonna,
like
the
half
rest of
and
them are going to
half.
go Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah.
Wow.
So like that one might be done. Boom. Give you.
Why
And
is
it's not
that-
even
why
a night
is
game.
that?
It's not even a night game. So they must have some other stuff on ESPN2 that they're. Maybe it's the
Wow.
finals they're putting on. I know it's an ABC.
Finals on
Yeah, but that's
ABC.
I guess
Yeah, but it's an ABC and ESPN.
that's right because
collaboration.
ESPN,
Yeah.
when they do it, ESPN2 always has like the alternative
Yeah.
watch deal.
And that may be part of it. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I see 3.
Because that's a 3:00 game too, so that would have to be
Yeah.
part of what that idea is.
I like Tennessee.
The thing is I don't know if it's going to be Georgia, Florida, or Kentucky, but I feel like one of them 3 is going to come out. Which one?
I like.
I
Tennessee.
think 2 are a lock. I think one of them 3 comes out. I don't know which one.
I like Tennessee. I like A&M. And honestly, I like Georgia. I think it'll be cool for them to make it. They hadn't made it, I don't think, back since 2008.
I'm not biting yours, but I got the same 3, dude. I really do.
I mean, and what's really cool is, like, how many home runs did Connor hit this weekend?
I think 1.
So he has 37.
Yeah, I think he had 1.
So, like, it's going to be fun to watch.
I
If
want
they
to
make
watch
it get Omaha.
That's
Hey,
the
let's
one
see
I
what
want to
Connor in
watch.
Omaha.
Yeah, 100%. That's the one I want
Because
to watch.
big stage, you're going to potentially have you have the potential at 40 homers.
Right.
But it's a bigger field, right? Didn't
Yeah.
have a great performance in Hoover. I'm not saying he's not good, but he didn't have a good performance in Hoover. Bigger field, neutral site, elite arms, all these types of things. You're gonna go to Omaha, same type of thing, big field. You're gonna have these elite arms, really big stage. Let's see how he goes, what happens there away from Georgia. But I think they're gonna win. So that's what I got for that. What else we got? We got some questions. Any?
Yeah. I mean, I put him in the dot.
I know. Oh yeah, he's not used to it.
He's not used to it. No,
So
you gotta say it. You gotta ask
Lloyd,
him.
you have to participate in the show, dog. This is Lloyd.
Yeah.
Lloyd reads them
Oh,
out.
so I have to read the question. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, Lloyd. Listen, I want you part of the show. You ain't
Call
just
done.
producing. You gotta produce and act
All
same
right,
time.
Call done. Do we ask Mikey and Mitch? Do y'all think we get a short? Do y'all think we get the shortstop from Louisville? And will we get another SEC transfer?
So that was the big name that dropped. Now there's other names that are going to drop. That was the big name that dropped today. I mean, that I would imagine Jay's going after him hard.
Yeah.
So do I know if we're going to get him? I don't know, but I know that Jay's going to get him. I think Jay saw it happen last year, not getting Braden Montgomery and those types of guys.
Yeah.
He's going to say, fuck it, I'm going to get these guys no matter what.
Yeah. I think he's going after him hard, and I think it's in the mindset of, let me go at it hard. Let me do what I can do now, and I'll figure out how to balance out and move them and put people where I want. Because, like you said, if Braswell stays, like how do you balance that? I think he'll try to figure that out later. I think he wants to just stack as much talent as he can and figure the rest out after.
Yeah.
Nick Lacasio asks Mikey and Mitch. Both Hurd and Jump were fastball heavy on Sunday and Monday night. Both have great breaking pitches, so that was surprising. Is that called by the coaches or the pitchers?
I'm going to let you answer it.
On Sunday and Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just do a little hair, just a little bit of, if you will. Let me put this out there for you. Bear with me, people.
We're bearing.
I got something for you.
We're bearing.
On Sunday and Monday, right?
Bring out the
Both
stats.
against North Carolina, right?
Let him cook.
So, this is not North, that's Wofford.
We're almost there.
Don't need that. So, if we're going to say, so Sunday, we're going to pull this up. We're going to get to the, stop spinning and get in there. Sunday.
Look, he's keeping his poise under pressure right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thatcher. We asked about Thatcher, didn't
Yeah,
we?
Thatcher and
Thatcher and Gage
Jump.
Yeah, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 6 punchies,
No walks.
2 runs, no walks. You can throw as many fastballs as you want if you do that.
Well, here's the deal. Let me ask you this. to compound that question, you said asking about the fastballs. One, that's called by the coaches.
Yeah, of course.
Right. I think there's only a handful of teams that allow their catchers to call pitches.
Yeah.
We're not one of them. And what did we say is Thatcher's key? Once he starts losing control of
he
what?
can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, once he starts losing control of the fastball.
That's when you know it's all going at that
right.
point.
And so the fact that he had control of his fastball shows how good of a pitcher he is because he can pitch off his fastball. Look, if you're going to look at percentages of like all these big time stars, like you can look at Paul Skeens right now in the big leagues. He only throws his 4-seam fastball, which does 101 miles an hour, 38% of the time. Right? So there's a mix of the pitches, but at the end of the day, if you ask Paul or ask these big pitchers, hey, what do you need the most? He goes, they're going to say fastball command. Because if they have fastball command, they know they got that whenever. Doesn't mean they're going to throw it 75% of the time, but sometimes the game plan, determines that.
And then if I jump to Gage,
yeah,
no pun
it
intended,
was different though.
But look, and I'm not a pitcher. I'm just imagining what this is like. If I'm going to pitch you on short rest, I'm probably not going to ask you to go out there and spin it all day.
Yeah, right. No
So
doubt.
knowing that you have a good dominant fastball that you can place in all 4 quadrants,
Yeah.
I'm going to rely heavy on you pitching off of that pitch, much like their starter did. What did their starter come in the game and do? DeCaro.
Fastballs.
Right.
Short rest, started the game for him. All he threw was fastballs pretty much and changeups.
Yep.
It's hard to ask a guy coming off a short rest who's basically on a pen day where they're trying to feel it to come and spin his best breaking balls.
Right.
It's just really not going to happen.
Right.
So, and I didn't even think about that, but
That's a good point.
That may be like a short-term thinking of, hey, what am I going to get on this guy coming out the pen?
Yeah.
He's going to come at you
Yeah.
because he ain't trying to be out here throwing 50 pitches.
Right.
So,
Quick side note, Dylan Cruz has a 7-game hitting streak.
Ooh, he going.
So it's getting
He
hot.
cooking.
Since May 1st, he is batting .452.
That's
10
when I
for
started
27.
paying attention. I was like, damn it. May started off. April was bad. May, June. Why do you think? Why do you say that is the case? The weather starts to warm up, and it gets a little bit more fun to have a wood bat in your hand hitting 100. I promise.
Especially
Definitely
in
help there.
where is he? Is he in DC? Is that
He's in Harrisburg.
where's that? Like
In Pennsylvania.
Is it Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
so it's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. No doubt. It's not in the South. So yeah.
And
Anyway.
everything that he's playing is up in that region as well. So
Ugh.
Yeah.
it
Weather
ain't,
starts
it's not
to
that
warm up.
comfortable up there.
Makes a difference when that happens.
It's not that comfortable up there.
All right, what we got? What were we talking about before that?
It's Ask Mikey and Mitch.
He was
it's
asking,
another-
he was
another
asking
question.
about why the fastball heavy approach.
That's right.
Kenneth Belela, ex Mikey and Mitch. Do y'all think any of those pitchers from Wofford, if given a chance, would come to LSU?
I mean, yeah, if they got the opportunity, they would definitely come. I just don't think that they. I don't think that
Respectfully,
we're going to give them the
I don't-
opportunity.
Yeah, I didn't.
That's it. Respectfully, I'm not sure that there's one that we're like that we gotta have.
Right. But I mean, yeah, if they got the if there was one that got the opportunity, I would think that they would definitely be able to come.
But
here.
if you
I would say
measuring yours against theirs, I don't think they have anything that's better than what you have already.
no doubt.
Or than what
No
you
doubt.
can go out and get right now as well.
Right.
There wasn't one guy that popped on the mound there where you're like, oh my god.
Like similar to the guy from Southern Miss a couple years ago. Remember?
Right. Yeah, there
They're
wasn't
like,
that.
damn, and then that guy went to Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Then
Yeah.
you see him in the Natty.
Yeah.
DA asks Mikey and Mitch, would Jay entertain the thought of maybe look into getting another batting coach? I know he has some good at bats, but there were a lot of times the bats went cold, and I guess plate discipline.
So, if Jay had to get rid of a batting coach, that means he's firing himself.
Yeah.
You know, Jay is the hitting guy. The assistant hitting guy is Wanaka, the first base coach. They've been together for a while. He's very familiar with Jay, the way Jay acts and works and teaches, and so that's kind of an extension of Jay. So Jay is kind of the guy who like deals with the hitters. You know, why do they go cold? That's the game of baseball. Sometimes these guys on the other side are really good. We have to always remember that. Like, you're not facing a midweek game where you are clearly more talented to the team across from you. You're facing teams that are equally, if not more talented than you, and it's a tough game. Not every time you're going to actually come through. So that's just baseball. Sometimes you go cold. You don't do it when you need to do it, but I don't think that's a hitting coach problem unless it's a reoccurring thing year after year.
And then coming off a year where they were just like top 3 and they basically finished in the SEC like 6th or 7th
This year? Yeah, it's not
right
bad.
in the middle of the pack, where you knew they were going to be slower early because they had some young guys and they had some at bats they needed to replace. Nah, he ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. No, I mean they hit like 100 and
He's not going anywhere.
some homers. Yeah.
And I don't think that. And I personally, this is me. I don't think that he should be looking for one.
Yeah.
Thomas. I'm not even
Sapienza.
Sapienza. Ask Mikey and Mitch, what do y'all know about Gavin Cash, first baseman out of Texas Tech, I'm guessing? He said Texas. He entered the portal and seems like a stud at a position of need.
I mean, that is somebody I would imagine either has already gotten a phone call or is getting a phone call in the near future. You know, first base is a position of need, and that's a guy that's a position they're going to go after. So, I would imagine he's being contacted. Now, this is an evaluation thing, right? Like Jay's going to have it's like a draft board again or a recruiting board again. Hey, what positions do we need? Who do we rate top in that position based off of who we are as a team? Because they want the guy to come in fit in their, you know, the way they go about their business. So he's going to rank them, and then he's going to go after them, and he's going to figure it out. You know, who is serious about coming here or not, and then he'll go from that way. But
He's an interesting one. I'm looking up his numbers right now. I would imagine there's a lot of film breakdown that Jay's probably going to do with him, but a guy that hit 300 this year, 15 homers, 51 ribbies, 17 doubles, got some strikeout, could probably have some better plate discipline. If there's something that Jay probably feels that he can tinker with and probably make him better, yeah, I think there's a high chance he's someone that he goes at.
no doubt.
And there's probably going to be some good first base bats in there, so maybe that isn't the top one because I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know what else is in the portal.
Right. I talked about a guy before
Yeah,
the show, the guy
exactly.
from Niagara.
But this is the interesting one.
Yeah, right.
100%,
I mean, there's gonna be guys out there. He's gonna see who's out there. He's gonna go after it. I mean, look, there's other shortstops that he went after before he got Braswell. Some other guys went different places, and he decided to stick with Braswell. So, you know, he's gonna keep his options open and try to figure it out. Is that it?
Yeah, that is it.
That's it. That's all we got for Ask Mikey and Mitch. Brought to you by our friends at Land Rover, Peretti, our boys.
The peeps.
They keep you running tight, coach.
The squad.
They keep you rolling dirty.
The squad.
You've been with the squad since what, 09?
Ooh, 10.
10. Whenever you
Ooh,
bought
actually 9.
09, right? Yeah, that's when you got drafted.
Well, I say 10 because it was literally like November, December, but yeah.
Yeah. You needed to do it after you got your check so that you can write.
Well, yeah.
You know.
You had to let that check clear first.
Yeah, let the check. You had to let the check get hot.
I wasn't doing it
Can't
before.
write
That's
a
for damn sure.
So yeah,
got another Mikey and Mitch.
Oh, we got an extra bonus one. What is it?
Bonus hour. Let's see. Jay Reach asks Mikey and Mitch, do you think it's possible for Bear to come back and play right? Seems like that's the only way for his stock to raise. He answered most of the hidden questions.
I'll just put it like this. When it comes to Bear, I'm not going to sit here and say there's no chance, but there's way more to lose than there is going to be for him to gain by coming back. Like, for him to come back, whether it's playing right, whether it's playing first base, for him to climb in the draft, that means he'd have to hit 330 plus with 25 again and or 30 or more, and then like
Hit
drop down
350.
strikeouts. Yeah, okay, so he's got to hit 330, 335,
Yeah, whatever it is, yeah.
340. Like there's so much more that he would have to do to gain than it would be for him to just, because if he did the same based off of just strictly class alone, he's gonna lose.
Here's the deal. Jared Jones hit 301. So if you don't, I know people talked about him last year. Oh, he didn't, whatever. He hit 315 last year.
And he showed you that he can play a position that he didn't come here playing.
Right. So he hit 301, 14 doubles, 2 triples, 28 homers. He walked 59 times. Now, he struck out 76 times, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong. But he's he's almost a 1-to-1 ratio.
And he's got an 80 power tool.
Yeah,
so
like they don't care.
The strikeout number
They know.
is expected when they see
exactly.
that. So, and it's not so alarming that they're like, oh no, this is a big problem.
Right.
Like, it's pretty much where we expected. But he still hit 300. He's walked a ton more, especially than he did last year.
Yep.
Ooh, we can work with it. That's where they're going to see it.
No doubt. So, for me, I just don't see, like, look, if he comes back, hits 340 with 30.
We would open
no,
him with, no
no
doubt.
doubt. And be a top.
I just don't think he will.
I think, what I think that this postseason he's played himself into a higher draft position. I think that he was probably a third or so rounder, maybe second rounder. I think seeing him do it in the postseason in the SC tournament, I think he's probably a borderline supplemental early second.
To his question too, from the way he ran the bases and kind of moved around first base this year, if somebody's looking at him to play right field or left field, they don't even need to see that. They probably thinking, oh, we just give him that glove, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, he can do it. He's athletic enough to do it. No doubt.
They don't, that wouldn't be the reason why he would come back.
Yeah, so I also think he showed that he's a good defensive first baseman.
Yeah.
So I hope he does. I just don't think he will.
Because he was light years better, like from the start of the season to the end of the season. Because he just never played first. You could tell he never played first.
No doubt.
And
No
like
doubt.
him being
you
right-handed,
mean just defensively?
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
100%.
him being a right-handed first baseman is already different. Like most first basemen are left-handed. Like it's just a strange position to play when you've never played it at all.
Yeah,
No
there's
doubt.
a lot of footwork too. So for you to pick it up,
Trust me.
that quick, yeah.
Trust me.
Wait, they put
Listen
you at
to
first
me.
before?
I started at first base in AAA my last year,
Oh.
and I've talked about this a lot on the show. It wasn't fielding the ball or digging a ball out the dirt or anything like that. It wasn't any of that. I was comfortable with that, and I never played infield in my life. It was the footwork. If you don't practice the footwork and you don't understand, okay, hey, if the ball's here, this is my foot. I got to sprint back to the bag and find it, or I got to do this, or I got to do whatever it is. That's the hardest thing. Like on a pickoff, how am I supposed to set up? What am I supposed to do when I tag? And how am I supposed to bounce off? And it did not go well for me. Right? So it takes a little bit to adjust to that.
Pickoffs are the worst. When you
Worst, dude.
Like I played first base, but like I played first base, growing up, and then I got to high school, and I didn't realize like it's way different. It's a little bit faster,
No doubt.
And the first day of pickoff practice, they put me with a senior, and I was like, he went to pick off, and I didn't even see the ball.
Yeah,
like,
way by you.
Like way by me.
No doubt, dude. And look, it's a different thing. So I think he's shown the ability to do that. He was a catcher. He's an athlete. They can teach him to play left, right, wherever. I think left would probably be depending on the field, probably is the better way. So no, I don't think he comes back.
Getting a couple more.
Oh, let's just keep him rolling then.
Thomas again. How do you think Jay manages the portal this early on? There's guys of interest, but still more to come.
I think he handles it by going head first into it.
No doubt, dude.
Like he is full throttle on that thing right now. He is literally clicking refresh every second. He is working the phone line.
Been in a couple DMs.
He's had some conversations, or players have had conversations with other players that may still be playing or may wherever, right? So, like, he's kind of got a pulse on what's out there and who may be interested after the World Series or what. So, I think that's how he does it, head first. Like, hey, this is who I'm going after. I know it. Everybody's available. Basically.
And Ola Tiger asks Mikie and Mitch, as former LSU outfielders, how would you rate this season's outfield group's performance, fielding and hitting?
Wait, fielding and hitting?
Uh-huh.
That's an interesting question.
That is, and I'm literally thinking about it like as it goes.
I thought about half of this before, like recently, and it's the outfield side of it, like the defensive outfield side of it. I would rate the outfield play. I mean, 7, 6, 6.5. Like they didn't do anything to hurt you. They made all the plays. 7.
I'd say a solid B.
Yeah, right. Like they did everything that you need them to do. They weren't really a liability out in the outfield. They actually made some plays.
Yeah.
I think that there are more plays to be made, like to give them an A, and say they had some plays I felt like they left out there.
Here's what yes, there's plays that 100%. There's plays that left out there. I would like to see, and we didn't see it this year, obviously, but as he wasn't a liability. You can tell he's a very good player, especially in the outfield. But I would love to see what Paxton Kling looks like in the outfield when he feels like he's
the guy
near the ability that he has.
Yep.
Because I think he is that kind of game-changing talent
Absolutely.
when he's doing that.
And
that wasn't what it was this year.
And that's the good point, right? Like I guess if they had look back at all the years, right? All of the center fielders or really center fielders. Right, that's kind of where the outfield revolves around. Now, some teams had 3 center fielders. We were able to have 3 center fielders that played in the outfield, and it made a huge difference. When they had Stevenson and Laird and those guys, 3 center fielders were playing in the outfield at the same time. So those were like elite defenses. But you just didn't have anybody out there that you felt like was a game changer defensively, and so that's just like everybody was good, nobody was bad. It was just good,
Nick Donald asks Mikey and Mitch, chances LSU opens in the top 10 next season?
Strong to quite strong.
Yeah.
Firm to quite firm.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good spot
Open
for him.
as the number 1 team, right?
Last year?
Yeah, this year.
Some polls, I believe, right?
Yeah, Skeen's struggling to get out the 5th right now. He gave up another solo homer.
Are you struggling to get out the 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He gave up another.
What's the score?
It's 7-3 Pittsburgh.
Oh, all right. I mean, he's got a little cushion.
He's at 92 pitches.
Well,
are you struggling to get out the 5th?
I'm good.
Sounds like Mikey's struggling to get out the 5th.
I'm not struggling at all. I'm just. I'm.
A lot of pitches.
I just looked at it. I looked down at it.
Too many pitches. My arm kind of hurts, but I don't know.
Oh my god.
Yes, top 10 preseason, no doubt.
Okay. Nick Donald again.
Wow, we're just having a conversation.
Right. They're in now.
Ex Mikey and Mitch, will we ever see Chase Shores in the purple and gold again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He'll be here
February
next year.
14, 2024.
Yeah, whenever opening day is.
2025, I believe.
How do we rank the pitching staff going into next season?
Ooh.
How do we rank
I'm
it?
gonna throw you top 10.
Yeah,
There's a pitching staff I think that was probably ranked around there and maybe probably could have been higher in some people's minds just because of what you saw was there, but we didn't know what was going to play out. It ended up being a top 25 pitch staff in the country.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, that's what it ended up being.
They had the most strikeouts in the regional.
There you go.
No, I think top 10. I mean, I think you have a lot of guys that had a lot of experience this year that are going to be back. Now you're losing some, but you're bringing back your biggest recruit is going to be Chase Shore getting healthy. So yeah, I think top 10. I think they have a lot of talent. They have multiple first round potential guys in that rotation. I mean, you got when that rotation's all done, all 3 of those guys could be first rounders. Yeah. If Griffin Herring goes out and shoves, first rounder, right, or second rounder, either way, one of the 2, right. You're going to have Chase Shores, who has the potential to be 1 overall. And then you're going to have potentially Cade Anderson, who I would imagine is going to be a first-round pick when he comes out as a junior. He may be a top 10. Listen, he's a lefty that's touching 95 right now.
Yes.
With a nasty breaking ball, especially when it's on.
And he has a noodle body.
Yep.
Like
he's got that wiry noodle. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just flinging his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say top 10, no doubt. No doubt.
So where do y'all see, like, where does Cam Johnson fit into all of this?
That's the big wild card, bro. I tell you right now, if
Cam's
Cam
got those
Johnson can improve to what he showed up as, I think it takes the pitching staff over the top.
Yeah.
Absolutely over the top.
Well, if he is that, then now you add him to the starting rotation.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, this guy.
Like, what is this?
Yeah, but he has to be able to.
It almost never works out that way.
Yeah.
But when I say never works out that way, like, we don't know what can happen. Maybe the one of the 3 that we're dubbing as those guys this year for whatever reason, either doesn't do it, gets injured, whatever it is, and he steps up and is that. But it almost never happens to where you got four, and I say almost never, like literally almost never happens to where you got like 4 dudes with, let's say, 10 plus starts on the season. That's like you can go across the country year by year, and you pretty much never see that happen. You pretty much see 2 guys who got like 13 to 15 starts, probably. If you got
however
that.
many games,
and then you got maybe one guy who's got like 7 or 8 because he probably came on halfway during the year, maybe he was hurt, whatever it was. You usually don't see that. So that's just off the strength of that. That's where I'm gonna go when it comes to
So
Johnson.
in a perfect world, you got Chase Shores Friday night. Saturday you go Griffin Herring. Sunday would be Cade Anderson, and then Cam Johnson's your mid.
I don't know. I would, honestly, I would think you would get Cade as the third simply off of merit of what. But you got 2 dudes who you could very willingly say you're the Friday night guy,
right?
And Chase if he's healthy, and Griffin.
Yeah.
Like you could very easily say that.
And look, maybe he says that's the case, and Cam Johnson's really good. Maybe Cam becomes that Griffin Herring. Yeah. Right. And then Cam's junior year, he's now the number 1, and you know that I think that's how they would. That's how they would do it. I think out of all those guys, that role fits Cam Johnson right now. Ease him into that star guy. Yeah. Was that a question from you or the chat?
That was a question from me.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. I like that. All right, I think we got through the bonus questions. What are we gonna do?
Summertime?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're a football show.
I was about to say you got to go into that.
We're going there. Look, it'll be a lot of interviews.
I
want to create like obviously we're gonna fix the studio. We're gonna continue to get that better, and then I want to I don't know, put a basketball goal. Like we can.
That's gonna be a big project.
Or like
how we make this thing.
Make that a football net.
Yeah, we'll make this thing seamless. We'll put some stuff in. We'll get that going.
We're gonna entertain ourselves.
Yeah,
here
we'll have an entertainment section of the show.
Talk football. Bring in football guys. Now we start bringing in these guys. Hopefully to have some interviews and just talk to them about what to expect. But I mean that's really it. That's really all we got.
Yep.
We got 2 months of the countdown.
Yep.
I mean we're under 100 days, right?
Yep.
I think it's like 89.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, what a home schedule LSU's got this year. This may be the best in the history. Listen, because
it's the best in the last 5.
Yeah, but this is why I think it's the best. You got UCLA coming here. I mean, when's the last time UCLA? They may have never been to LSU, right?
I think it might have been if it was in the 70s or the 80s.
Right. Like you got UCLA coming. You got obviously Alabama back. First time Alabama's back without Saban in a long time. So that's going to have a lot of hype behind it. You have Ole Miss, which you got Kiffin, the boys. Like it's that's kind of the new rivalry right now with Kiffin as a head coach, right? So you had that one. Then you got Oklahoma coming in at the end of the season. When was the last time Oklahoma's ever played in Baton Rouge?
I don't think.
And they may have never played there, right? So to me, that's what makes it really cool. Yeah. You got really good teams, really good home schedule, but also teams that you've never seen come in. I think that's really fun.
And then you get the big you get the big opener with USC, and I think that game is gonna decide how everything else.
Well,
goes.
Of course, it's like the Florida State game, right?
Well, yeah, but I think this one is a lot more significant because it's Brian Kelly's 3rd year at LSU. This is his 3rd big game in a row at LSU. It's put up or shut up time now.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think it's huge because, like you said, it's put up or shut up. But put up or shut up here for him in this situation is following 10 wins, 10 wins.
Yeah.
So you can't go 8.
Yeah, right.
You can't go 9.
Yeah. You can't get worse.
At this point, we got to go 11 playoff.
You got to give me 10 or 11. Or you can't go worse. So it should be a big one in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. I mean, it's a really cool schedule. I'm looking forward to watching it.
A home playoff game in Baton Rouge that might.
Can you imagine?
They might shut the city down.
No doubt.
And they should.
I mean, I wish I could buy future rights to those tickets now, right? Hey, I don't care. I'll pay.
I was about to say that's the hardest ticket in the world.
I'll put those on a retainer. I'll pay you right now.
Right now, because I know they're gonna be
at some point. And look, even if it's not this year or next year or the next year, I don't care if it takes 3 years. I'm giving it to you.
Yeah.
and if it's a yearly fee, every year I'll give it to you to have access to get those tickets at cost.
Yes.
Right? Or just to have the tickets. Like I'll pay you this much ahead of time to get them whenever they come out. Because when that happens, dude, those tickets are gonna be like Super Bowl tickets.
Oh,
Yeah.
sky high.
I mean, it might be higher than Super Bowl tickets,
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised.
no doubt. Crazy.
Like-
But it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
We're about to start talking about Nussmeier instead of talking about Braswell. We're gonna start talking about
Yeah. Kyron
Lacey instead of talking about Milazzo. Like, yeah.
You know what time it is. When
Can't wait.
When it gets into summer here.
Yeah, it's getting hot.
Bro, it's a lot rainier this summer than it was last summer. Huh?
Might have a little tough hurricane season.
You can't tell me
I'm
that.
not-
Not my job, not my line of work. The insurance world does not need that.
Look,
I know.
it's
Yeah, but
been-
you're right. That's what they're saying. Tough.
it's been very.
Let's hope not, huh?
It's been warm.
Just the
Some of
rain,
these we getting already.
but I mean, just the rain we've been getting,
Listen,
like
And not
the
just
kind
rain,
of storms.
we're getting some like
raining sideways.
yeah, like wind shit. Like damn, I kind of feel like I was in a tropical storm there for
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes, and they're quick. Yeah, that's not great. It's once a week. I feel like now.
Yep, not great, but that schedule is beautiful.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, that's all I got. We got Seggies though. Are you gonna be part of the segment with us or?
Is it curtain call?
Yeah, you didn't see. He didn't have the mistake of the day, which is normally Lloyd's segment, but it's Lloyd's segment for a reason because it's all the dumb shit that goes on.
It's literally
It
Lloyd's
fits his
segment.
personality.
Yeah.
So, and Lloyd sent a mistake of the day to us via text message that I will not share because it was disgusting.
Yeah,
Oh, my goodness.
that's not this.
That he said that was his mistake of the day, but
Yeah, no, we would have to put him off the show for that one.
I mean, boy, that would
Time
be, we couldn't put that.
Is
there,
it
huh?
that bad?
It's just gross.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's not like it's like
In typical Lloyd
explicit.
fashion.
It's just gross. Yeah. So I'm not doing that. So no mistake of the day brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place, but curtain calls brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners. Me, what we got?
Want me to lead it?
Yeah, you can lead it.
I'll lead it. I'll give the faithful some love right here because this was dope. So, per our friends over at ESPN, we were able to get numbers on the most watched regionals games of 2024. At number 5, you got clocking in the June 3rd game of UConn at Oklahoma. Number 4, you got clocking in the June 2nd game which was game 2, elimination game of LSU and Wofford at 678,000. The number 3 was Texas at Texas A&M on June 1st. And the number 1 and 2 games were both the elimination game for LSU against North Carolina. Number 2, 756,000, which was about 60,000 more than the number 3 game of Texas and Texas A&M. And number 1, 965,000 was LSU and North Carolina, the elimination game to go. So mine is going to be to the LSU faithful of locking in and supporting the boys and
We
being
draw.
part of
They
the run. We know.
they do numbers, dude.
Yeah.
LSU,
They do
anytime
numbers.
they play, that's the reason why.
I got the message from a friend of mine saying, "Wow, LSU fans really are crazy." Yeah,
Yep.
we in it. We in it.
Craziest, actually.
To win it. We in it to win it.
I do not have a curtain call.
Ooh, well, I didn't have one last week, so I needed to come.
Yeah. So I was looking, I thought I had one, and then I honestly forgot where it was at, and I don't remember what it was. So no curtain call for me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll be better. But that's all we got for you today on this beautiful ass Mikey and Mitch Wednesday. We'll be back live.
Quick question: Who got in the finals?
Oh yeah,
Who got in the finals?
God, that's a great question.
that is a
today.
great question.
That's a
Listen,
great question.
I
today.
know what I think I want to see. It's like in my head, I know I think I know what's gonna happen, but I know who I want to see. I want to see the Mavs win, but I just think the Celtics are gonna win. Does that make sense?
Mavs has the 2 best players in it.
Yeah, but the Celtics have the best team,
Yeah,
right? So like,
that
if
at the end of the day,
yeah. So like if they can shut one of those 2 guys down and the Celtics do what the Celtics do, they're gonna win. But I want to see the Mavs.
I'm going to go with this. I don't know who the number 3 is because I don't know the Mavs team that close. I won't say they're number 3. Just the guy that would be to do this. But if the Mavs can find one other dude to consistently knock down like outside shots in this game, I think they win the series. But I'm going to go Celtics because, well, they done been to this part of the year a few times already. And if it ain't now for
never.
that duo they got there, it's never.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go Celtics.
no doubt. I think that's who's gonna win too. I want to see the Mavs
Yeah.
win though. All right, we'll be back live. Honestly, we're not going to have a show on Friday. I'll make that announcement here. We'll be back live in studio next Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. We're going to have some of the guys from the team come in, hang out with us, talk about what's next, talk about the rest of the season, kind of reminisce on the good and the bad. So we'll be back live in studio. We appreciate the support. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't like and subscribe or you don't like watching us or anywhere you get your pods, we appreciate the support and have a great weekend. Peace. Skeens got out of it.